Good evening, New Jersey FFA members. Like I promised, I'm going to be doing the Day in the Life of a State Officer series. I tried this maybe 2 days ago on my story, and it uploaded in every which direction and order that was wrong. So there was just things happening everywhere. So I'm trying again. If this does not work, then I might just resort to YouTube. I don't know, because I would still love to do this. But I will be talking about LEAD. There's a lot that I could talk about going into this, and just state office in general. Next week, I'll probably cover just like basics, like meetings and stuff. But like I promised, LEAD will be this week's video. LEAD is happening this coming Friday and Saturday. And the state officers, actually, if you remember from the summer, it was either July or August. I can't remember which one. But we had Checkpoint 1. And this is where the state officers learn how to write and deliver a workshop. And we actually get the curriculum for our LEAD workshops at Checkpoint. So for LEAD and only LEAD, the state officers actually get curriculum that's already written, and that is from National FFA. It's a part of the 360 and 212 curriculum. So in December, y'all will probably attend 212, and we'll either have national facilitators or some alumni that will facilitate that. That is also bought in from National FFA, but LEAD is the only one that state officers do that we don't write ourselves. ALLD and State Officer Candidate School, that all comes from us, in our brains and our creativity. As far as the sessions go, we get 6 sessions and then the POA session. So the 6 sessions go to 6 state officers. Each person gets 1 session, and then the POA session goes to another. So this year I'll be facilitating the POA session. Sometimes it's the state president, sometimes it's not. Just kind of depends who wants to facilitate what and where our strengths are best. So yeah, we get that in August. So the beginning of August to the beginning of October is the window that we have to memorize this workshop. Now, it might sound crazy needing like 2 months to memorize a workshop. They only last a little over an hour, but when you are a state officer for the first time, learning how to facilitate, learning how to write workshops, it can be a lot, and memorizing it isn't really the easiest, because you really haven't facilitated before, I guess, like, correctly in the way National FFA wants you to facilitate. So there's kind of that disconnect, and you have to get into that groove of memorizing and learning how to facilitate that. Along with the session, we have some other things that happen at LEAD as well. We have the team building session, we have the breakouts with chapter officer leadership training and leadership and opportunities conference, and we have perspectives, and opening and closing sessions too. So the state officers are assigned one of those, and we all write the entire script. So everything that you hear us talking about in anything that's not called session 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, or the POA session, has been written by us. This year we even reworked the POA session, so that kind of has been written by myself and Renee. But yeah, so there's other sessions that we get assigned to. We have to write the scripts. And then we also have flag raising and reflections that the team writes together. We rework it and rework it and rework it until it's perfect, and then we memorize, and practice. So this time of the year is the craziest for state office. I will be the first to admit that it can be stressful, but once October is over, you just have like this weight lifted off your shoulders, and it's a beautiful thing. So every Monday after checkpoint number 1, we have a meeting in Trenton. Now usually, and you'll hear more about this next week, usually we only have a state meeting the first Monday and then a work session the third Monday, and those are the only times we're meeting in Trenton. But for lead, we either have that state meeting, the work session, and then the other 2 Mondays of the month are lead planning meetings. And even at that work session, we go over lead. So 3 weeks out of the 4 weeks in a month, we are practicing our sessions, we are memorizing stuff, we are creating materials, we are going through flag raising and reflections. We're doing a lot of stuff that goes into lead. When I was a member, I never even, the thought never crossed my mind. I was like, oh, reflections, flag raising. I never even knew if it was, the same every year, if it was different. It's something that you don't think about when you are a member. And if you do, that's great. If you are going to lead, I want you to keep in mind how the state officers are facilitating. The reflections that we have, the flag raising that we have. Because if you do run for state office this year or in years in the future, you will want this information. You'll need this information because when it comes time that you are on a state officer team and you have to write reflections or write flag raising or memorize and facilitate a workshop, this is crucial because you start from nothing, and that can be scary and difficult because if your creative juices are not flowing, then it is hard, I will say. Everyone gets there, and everyone has different ways of time management and memorizing and just practicing in general, but it's kind of crazy. The Monday before lead, so yesterday we met in Trenton and we had our lead dry run. So we ran through every session from start to finish. Everything had to be memorized. We went through flag raising, we went through reflections, everything happened. While teammates were facilitating, we were creating the session navigator. We were doing the tag out wall. We were just creating everything. Happy gram bags, everything under the sun for lead that wasn't for our individual workshops, we were creating last night. And then the state officers get to lead on Thursday. So all of the members come on Friday around lunchtime, but we get there Thursday evening, and then the 3 sessions that facilitate on Friday will do another dry run Thursday night, and then Friday morning, the 4 sessions that facilitate on Saturday will run through their workshops on Friday morning, and that's the last time that we practice as a team, as a group, in front of each other, until you actually facilitate your session, which is crazy to think about. I have 2 more times that I'm facilitating my workshop, and one of them is to you. That's insane. But it's super fun, and something to keep in mind, and something that our state staff always says is if you are prepared, if you are memorized, if you are doing all of the things that you need to do, if you're on top of everything, lead will be fun. And that's what I want it to be for myself. That's what I want it to be for my teammates. I want it to be like that for the members. So I can honestly say that all of my teammates right now are super prepared. We are ready for lead. We are excited. And I can't wait for it to happen. So yeah, that's crazy. I can't believe it's this week. But yeah, if you have any questions, I know this video was super long, but hopefully it was helpful. So if you have any questions, please DM me. If you want to talk at lead, find me during a meal, find me during the dance, just find me whenever we're not in a session, and I would love to talk to you more about state office, specifically to lead, or maybe any other questions that you may have. I'll also have a happy gram bag on the wall that will have my name, and we'll have sticky notes out there, so please, please, please write any questions down, your social media, put that in my bag, and I would love to get back to you. But for now, that's my first video on lead. I'm sure there's things I forgot, so I'm sorry if you run for state office and something hits you and I didn't talk about it and I prepare you. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. But yeah, hopefully that helped. Hopefully you gained more insight on lead. I always thought the state officers just kind of showed up and facilitated a workshop, but that's not what happens. And it's kind of crazy to think about that. So also sorry for me I am a state officer, but I'm also a person, college student. I just got my hair in a hair tie, got my pajamas on, so I'm in bed. So, yeah, thank you all for watching.